Yes, team, and welcome to episode 55, or session 55, should I say, of Mindset Mastery. 52 weeks of learnings, 52 weeks of inspiration, and 52 weeks of lessons that I really hope that you're taking away and applying in your own life. So today we're going to come on to a session that's really dedicated to anyone who's ever felt stuck or ever said, I feel stuck, I feel lost, I feel like the world keeps on spinning and I keep going nowhere. We're going to talk about resilience, we're going to talk about motivation, and we're going to talk about why you feel this way and how to get unstuck. So if this resonates with you, this one is for you. And remember, every single one of these trainings has come from me asking you guys what your biggest challenges are. And I always guarantee you, so the person who sent me this challenge will know, but the reality is 99% of us, we all face the same challenges. And that's what I want you to realize. That's why it's important coming on the weekly lives as well and asking questions and being open about your struggles, because I guarantee you, if you're struggling with something, hundreds of other people are. So by being open and talking, you're actually growing and contributing to the world also through your own struggles and helping others that maybe haven't yet found the strength to ask that question. And let's not forget, 99% of you will only be here because you openly heard me talk about how my struggles and how I solved them. So we're going to talk about how to build resilience or how to rebuild it if you feel that you've had it but now you've lost it. We're going to talk about how to reignite motivation and exactly what it is. Remember, last week we discussed that motivation is a lie, and how to stop feeling stuck in a world that feels like it never stops moving. So I'm also going to discuss how to stop worrying. Worry and anxiety is a huge problem for so many people. People worry they have too much time, they worry they don't have enough time. But the reality is, Mark Twain's most famous quote of all time was, I've had a whole lot of worries in my life, most of them never happened. That's the reality of almost everything that people worry or get anxious about. It's not even real, there's no evidence. And essentially what we're really doing is predicting a negative outcome of the future based on absolutely no evidence. Confidence is the opposite. Confidence is predicting a positive outcome of the future. So we're going to work into those as well. And also to remember that the only thing you should really be worried about is being happy today, which is what we're going to come on to. Tyson Fury said this. He said, I used to have so many worries in my life. I used to worry about everything that I'd done in the past, and I used to worry about everything that was going to happen in the future. I healed by just worrying about being happy today. All I need to worry about is being happy today. That's it. Everything else is either gone or it's too far in the future. And grounding yourself by becoming present like that can be huge. So when we do this, then we will also start to bring the power back to our own lives, because we're focusing on the here and now, not the yesterday or the tomorrow. Now, the truth is, right? Motivation isn't magic. People aren't born with motivation. It's built through action. It's the same as everything. Confidence is built through action. Strength is built through overcoming adversity. We tend to fall into a place as humans where we believe that everyone who's happy, motivated, and confident was born that way and it's different for them. That's not true. We also believe that we need confidence, motivation, or self-belief to take action. That one is massively not true. Motivation will only ever come after taking action. If you think you need it to get started, you're screwed. If you think you need confidence to get started, you're screwed. If you think you need self-belief to get started, you're screwed. They all come after taking action. The only thing you need to do is get started now and get perfect later. That's it. Again, resilience isn't something you're born with. It's forged through adversity. I'm resilient now because of everything that's happened for me, which is why I can be grateful for it. You know, coming through your toughest days is what builds your strength of character the most. That's why I'm grateful in advance for all challenge I'm facing, because I understand no matter how hard I get hit in the rest of this year, I will come out the other end of it, and I will come out a stronger version as a result of it. Weak people tend to avoid adversity. They avoid challenge. They avoid failure because none of it aligns with their biggest fear, or all of it aligns with their biggest fear that they're not enough and they're not good enough. So they don't even try. And I also want you to know that feeling stuck is never permanent, whereas a lot of people think it is. A lot of people think their current situation is permanent. Nothing is permanent, okay? And that's not to say that it's not normal to feel that way, because when you're stuck, when you're struggling, you can really feel that there's no way out, but that is a completely false belief. Again, normally created and shackled by memories of the past, and you've just kind of forgotten who you are and what you're actually capable of and what you've already overcome. Ladies, any of you who are mothers who are struggling right now, I urge you to remember that you've birthed a child. So let's remember, let's reignite, and let's move forward. So part one, why you feel so stuck, why it's okay, and why it's not true. So feeling stuck doesn't mean you're failing. We all get stuck. There's always bends in the river. As I've said before, you're always going to get, you can't have a fight and not get punched in the face, even if you're the best boxer in the world. You can't get to the end of the river without going through bends. If you get out of the fucking boat every time you hit a corner, then you're never going to go anywhere. If you get out of the ring every time you get hit, you're never going to learn to be a better boxer. Like, you can't get the thing and avoid all the challenge that comes along with it, because going through the challenge and adversity is what makes you strong and how you grow. So I want to use this great analogy here because, one, feeling stuck doesn't mean you're failing. Feeling depressed doesn't mean you are depressed. Feeling any form of negative emotion doesn't mean that's who you are, that's where you stay or where you're stuck. What it is, it's the warning lights on the fucking dashboard in your car. It's the rumble strip on the motorway. Those feelings are designed to wake you the fuck up and make changes. If you ignore them, they will get worse. This is why it's a good thing. What happens if your engine management light comes on and your low petrol light comes on and your oil light comes on and you ignore it? You think, oh, fuck that, I'll just turn up the radio and cover the dashboard. Eventually your car's going to really seriously break down and it's going to cost you a lot of fucking money to get it repaired. Life is the same. If you're getting these emotions and you're just ignoring them or thinking they're normal or thinking you're failing, that's wrong. That's the world showing you, right, this is our calling. This means it's time to change and you're being called to change. Now, most people think they're stuck or they're struggling because they're lazy, because they're weak, because they're broken, because it's different for them, because they're too short, they're too tall, they're too fat, they're too thin, they're not clever enough. It was their parents' fault, it was the school's fault, it was the government's fault, it was their ex's fault, and everything in between. Their ADHD's fault, their bipolar's fault, their anxiety's fault, my this, my that. All lies. All lies that have been created to stay safe. Now, what it really means is you're not lazy, you're not broken, you're not behind, it's not different for you. You're just out of alignment. You're not doing what matters to you. You're not doing what's important to you. You're not doing what inspires you. You're not doing what makes you happy. You're not following your dreams. You're not finding your purpose. You're not uncovering a mission. You're not doing what lights you up. This is why I've said always, if like mediocre goals require mediocre efforts, that's why people get bored and then they just go and get pissed. Because it's not exciting. If what you were moving towards in life was that exciting, you wouldn't want to get pissed. Because the thing that you're moving towards is more exciting. You wouldn't want to experience the negative emotions because the thing you're moving towards is more exciting. But You have to do what lights you up, because here's the thing that I've written down. I think this is fucking incredible, if I do say so myself. It's not that you feel stuck, you just don't feel inspired. That's it. You just haven't found your ikigai. You haven't found your mojo. You haven't found what makes you happy. So stop focusing on the fact that you feel stuck, and start focusing on finding what you're making happy, because you're actually asking the wrong question. Rather than asking, why do I feel so stuck? Ask, where can I find inspiration? Because when we feel stuck, that's when we just stop doing. We stop looking. I've just filmed episode 17 of the podcast. We believe that it's called opportunities everywhere. We convince ourselves that, I hate this phrase, it is what it is. It's not. Life isn't what it is. Life is what you choose to make it with your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, and your behaviors. It is what it is can refer to, well, that bottle of water's 3/4 full. It is what it is. Yeah, that's a thing. Emotions and feelings aren't just what they are. They're what you make them. You choose them. Same when it all comes from your thoughts. So that's why we go back to this emotion of this client said, I feel like the world keeps on spinning, but I'm stuck and that worries me. That's when you've stopped acting. You've stopped doing, so you've stopped progressing. So of course it feels like that. You're not doing anything. You're not in the river. You're not in the boxing ring. You're just spectating. And that's why it feels that way. And I need you to know this, transformation is not a spectator sport. Like, I don't care what any of the wishy-washy manifestation law of attraction says. It's why Dan Meredith always says, a finger up to the law of attraction and a thumbs up to action. I disagree. I think the law of attraction is great, but it's absolutely fucking pointless without action. So he is correct. Now, what the world's really doing is it's waiting for you to take action. It's waiting for you to catch up. It's waiting for you to move. If you don't like where you are, move. If you feel like life is passing you by, move faster and catch it up. But it all comes from action. I said this last week, didn't I? ABC, action brings change. Action builds confidence. You feel stuck because you're not doing. What you're really saying is, I'm stuck in my own head thinking about what I need to do, and I've thought about it that much that I've procrastinated and I've done nothing. Now, moving on to motivation. Motivation is built, not found. Motivation comes after taking action, and it's a feeling as a result of taking action and seeing results. You go to the gym, you feel good, you start to lose weight, you feel motivated. You do the work, you focus on your business, you start putting yourself out there, you start making money, you feel motivated to do more. Essentially, we feel motivated to do more of something when we've done the doing first and we've got a positive outcome from it, not before. Like when people say, I've said this as well, so I'm not calling anyone out, I just struggle with motivation. So like literally I want to crash a fucking bottle of water in my head sometimes when I hear people say that. What do you actually mean? You don't mean you struggle with motivation. You mean you struggle with taking action because you believe you need motivation to do it. You don't. Just do it. Just go to the gym. Just track the food. Just ask the boy or the girl out. Just go for the new job. Just end the relationship. Start the business. Do the post. Write the email. Do the thing. Get the result. Feel motivated. You're not struggling with motivation. You're struggling with taking action because you're afraid of failure and your mind is trying to keep yourself. What it really means is, I don't see any progress. I'm taking the easy way out. I'm looking for the path of least resistance. I'm making my lack of action motivation's fault, not my responsibility. I'm looking to shift it outside of me. I don't know where I'm going. I don't feel excited. I don't feel inspired. And I'm just generally doing nothing apart from sitting here talking about how I struggle with motivation. Never in the history of time has someone sat there talking about how they're struggling with motivation, confidence, self-belief, or anything else, and all of a sudden things have got better. What you're trying to do is you're trying to reason with and what's the word that I'm looking for? Kind of give yourself a reason for not doing. You're trying to justify your lack of action. Like, the reason I'm not taking action is motivation's fault, confidence's fault, self-belief's fault. That's not true. The fact is you just haven't taken action because you're afraid. That's what needs to be overcome, not waiting for those other things in order to take action. So the real problem is that most people are sat around like a garden gnome, waiting for motivation, self-belief and confidence to show up. The amount of times I've heard this, got to remember, this isn't my first rodeo, guys. This isn't my first rodeo, guys. I've been doing this for 20 years. They're waiting for something to come to take action, and it never ever will. They're waiting for confidence to act. They're waiting for self-belief to act. The amount of times I've heard people say, if only I had more confidence, I would insert what they would do. If only I had your motivation, Lee, I would. If only I could believe in myself a bit more, I would. Then sometimes we actually put it on the toes of making someone else responsible. If only someone would believe in me. If only someone would give me more motivation. And people say, Lee, I need you to motivate me. F off with that. Stop saying it. You need to learn to motivate yourself. What you're basically saying is, I'm never going to do anything unless I've got someone forcing me to do it. That needs to come from within. And it needs to come from within to take the action. When you take the action, guess what? You build confidence. You build belief. You build motivation. It's the action that creates the motivation. It's the action that stops you feeling stuck. It's the action that creates confidence, that creates belief, that creates energy. Think about it, right? When you go to the gym, when you're not motivated and you don't feel like it, but you think, no, I've got to go. How do you feel afterwards? You feel fucking amazing. You overcame your fears. You did the work. You took the action. You did the thing. You took a step forward. And then the energy follows. And all of a sudden, your head says, I'm going to do that again tomorrow because that made me feel great. Or you write the email, or you do the social media post, or you have the conversation. This is the reality. Most people end up doing the thing, and then the result is like, oh my God, why didn't I just do that 3 months ago? That really wasn't that hard. But instead, we blame motivation, confidence, and self-belief. So remember this, motivation is a reward, not a requirement. I'm going to say that 2 more times. Motivation is a reward, not a requirement. Motivation is a reward, not a requirement. If you're looking for it to take action, if you're waiting for it to take action, you're literally going to be waiting for it forever. So we can snap out of this very, very quickly by shrinking things down and not looking for the big things. So what's one small win that I can create today? What's one small action that I can take today to build confidence? What can I do today to build my confidence? What can I do today to build motivation? What can I do today to build positive beliefs? And when we do all of this, every step you take, you'll start to feel more motivated, more resilient, and stronger. Every time you don't, you'll end up blaming those things or feeling weaker as a result of not taking action. Just do the thing. So building further into resilience. So we normally talk about resilience when life feels hard, that we just don't have it, that we keep quitting, that every time we get punched in the face, we get out of the ring, that every time the boat hits a bend in the river, we step out of the boat and go back to the start, that we're not strong, that we don't have resilience. But again, it's built through coming back. Resilience is essentially, like, resilience for me is essentially the ability to keep going when things get tough. Like, business is easy when it's flying. You've got a calendar full of sales calls. People are begging to work with you. Everyone's all over your social media. Your reach is through the roof. Everything's great. You go into the gym every day. You're losing weight every week. Your relationship's great. Everything's opportunity is everywhere, as we said in the most recent podcast. You know, that's easy. But when all of those things stop, you're still the same person. But that's when we struggle. It's easy to keep going when things are easy. Then all of a sudden, we have a bad week in the business. We have a bad week in the gym. We pick up an injury. We don't get the reward we felt we should have done for the work we did. We have an illness. We have a family situation. We have a financial situation. And we just get out of the boat. We just get out of the ring. I don't want to get punched anymore. It's getting too tough. I absolutely loved boxing when I was punching the shit out of that other person. As soon as I got hit, didn't like it. It's about getting hit and keeping going. It's about bouncing back. It's about getting to that point where every single part of your body is saying, just quit. It's easier. Just quit. You don't need this, Lee. Just quit. And you go, do you know what? You're right. And that's why quitting feels so fucking great. Because in the moment, all of a sudden, you don't have to. You've left the business mentorship now. No one's checking. Lee's not checking whether you post on Instagram today or not. So you don't need to. You leave the body transformation plan. Lee's not going to be checking Fitness Power. I need to check in this week. So fuck it. I'm just going to eat cake and drink beer. You know, we lose the accountability. And that's why in the moment, quitting feels great until it doesn't, and we've gained the weight and we're losing money every week and we don't know what to do. And guess what we say? Don't feel motivated anymore. I feel stuck. And we're trapped in that thing. So resilience is bouncing back and pushing through when everything's get tough. But it doesn't come from avoiding pain. It doesn't come from skipping the gym. It doesn't come from looking for the path of least resistance. It comes from learning how to carry that pain, that struggle, that adversity, and push through it. It comes from understanding that some weeks are just going to be bad weeks, from staying calm under pressure, from realizing that a bad week doesn't make a bad month. A bad month doesn't make a bad year. A bad day doesn't even make a bad week. A bad hour doesn't make a bad day. You might have woke up, I'm not going to lie to you guys, and you guys know I'm always honest with you, I had a really shit start to this day. I had a couple of really shitty messages that proper fucked me off. Now, I can now carry that throughout the rest of this day and focus on that and make myself feel like shit with my thoughts, my focus, and my intention. Or I can go, that was just a bad start to the day. Do you know, what did I learn from it? I probably shouldn't have read that or reacted that way. Let's just leave it and move forwards. What can I do now to feel better? What can I do now to take action? So it also comes from choosing growth and challenge when you're afraid. Like if you're feeling really overwhelmed, right? Something's scaring the shit out of you and you feel petrified, lean into it. Overwhelm's the emotion of growth. If you're feeling overwhelmed, good. It's a test. It's building your strength. It's building your strength of character. If it was easy, you ain't building shit. If you're struggling right now, good, because when you get through that struggle, you're going to be stronger. The biggest thing with resilience and strength and everything is every time you take action when you don't want to, you get stronger. Every time you quit when you know you should be taking action, you get weaker. That's the truth. You just have to pick which one. And the reality is, if I choose challenge, if I choose adversity, if I choose to be grateful in advance, if I choose to do something that makes me feel so far out of my comfort zone, the outcome of it doesn't actually matter, because I can be proud of myself for doing the thing. Like, I've used this is like a perception. I don't know why I always use this like analogy, but let's go back to like a boy or a girl asking a member of the opposite sex out. So you have two options. You can be like, woohoo, fucking hell, she's hot. I really want to ask her out. Right, well, I'm only going to do that one if I'm guaranteed that she's going to say yes. Otherwise, it's going to, trigger my biggest fear that I'm not enough. Actually, no, I'm afraid, because what if she says no and she tells all her friends what a fucking loser I am? And then they tell all their friends and then they all think I'm a loser, and then I'm going to be single in the world because all women are bitches. Or what if, oh no, I'm just not going to do it. Okay. Or we can then go, do you know what? Actually, I'm going to find the strength to do it, but I'm going to relate everything to the outcome. So if she says yes, this is a good day, it means I'm enough. If she says no, it's a bad day, it means I'm a loser. Or I can go, right, one, I'm going to do the thing, and whatever the outcome, I'm going to be proud of myself for having the strength of the character to do the thing, because I know it put another rung on my confidence ladder. And even the energy that you bring to the situation will be so different. So if you're walking across to that girl in the coffee shop and you're thinking, fuck, she's going to say no, she's so hot, I'm sweating, oh my God, what's going to go wrong? This could be horrific. She's going to pick up onto that, and you'll probably stumble your words and spit them out, and she'll just think, that was a bit weird. No, maybe, yeah. Oh, here's a fake number. If you're walking over absolutely fucking bold as brass, right? I'm going to do the thing no matter what. I have no emotional attachment to the outcome. And either way, I'm going to walk away from that table proud of myself for doing the thing. That's a win, win, win. And you'll almost certainly be so confident that she'll say yes. Like, many of you will have been on your initial discovery and sales call with me. Like, I have no emotional attachment to whether you sign up or not. It does not make it a good or a bad day for me. Like, I am fucking good at my job. And all I'm thinking about on that call is I need to peel back the layers and find out what the real issue is with this person. I need to uncover what they really need help with. I need to decide myself whether I think I can help them, and also whether they're going to be a good client and they're going to do the work. And if I can tick all of those boxes at the end, then I will offer them a place. After that, it's up to them. Either at the end of that call, I found someone who wasn't a good fit for my program and didn't value my services, or I found someone who was a good fit for my program, valued my services, we created a relationship and started working together. Both of those are a win for me. What most people do in their business, if they have a sales business or sales calls, if that person signs up, then that means they're good at sales, they're good enough, they're happy, that was a good day, there's money in the bank, and they can breathe. If that client says no, irrelevant of whether the client was a good fit or not, well, everything must be wrong in their business and their prices are too high and that person didn't value them and they must be rubbish at sales and no one's ever going to work with them because that person said, same as asking the boy or girl out, it's exactly the same thing. It's the perception and the meaning that we give to it, and whichever one of those we choose will, sorry, I know I've gone off on a massive tangent here, will develop whether we build confidence or lose it, whether we build motivation or lose it, whether we feel calm or worried, and whether we choose to do it again. But if you're completely have an emotional attachment to the outcome rather than being proud of yourself just for doing the thing, then you'll always struggle with motivation and confidence because you're looking in the wrong places. So how do you become more resilient? You seek out challenge. I've said this so many times. And it was the journey I had with my marathon running. So I went from running 0 to a marathon. I went from running a marathon to doing my first 50 miler. I went from doing my first 50 miler to doing a 60 miler through the night that had meaning and purpose. It was for Chrome's charity, Crohn's and colitis, and my mum. I went from 60 miles to 100 miles. I failed it on the 89th mile. I came back and did it again and did 100 miles in 22 hours. I then did another 100 miler. I then stepped up from 100 to 200 and completed it before promptly ending my ultra running career. But once I've done that, how difficult do you think a marathon runs now? Remember Nat saying, you run a marathon like it's a fucking 5K. Why? Because I did all the hard stuff. If you want an easy life, do the hard stuff. If you want to, you don't build resilience with an easy life. You don't become great at handling challenge without going through it. The more struggle and challenge you can go through, the more powerful you will become. And this is why I'm grateful for any challenge that I face this year, because I know for a fact, once I've gone through the part of finding it difficult and struggling and maybe moaning, blaming, complaining, justifying, we all do it, throwing my toys out of the pram. As a result, once I've calmed those emotions and gone through it, I'll be stronger. Because going through adversity, going through pain, going through challenge, doing hard things, that's what makes life easy. That's what makes challenge less difficult. That's what builds your strength of character the most. Because now, as I said, just use the running analogy. Well, most people think a marathon is one of the hardest things in the world, which it is, but that's just because they've never done anything harder. To me, it's now a piece of cake because I went through the pain, the struggle, and the challenge. So the reason why people don't build resilience is they avoid struggle, challenge, and pains. If you want an easy life, do hard things. That's why I do them. Some people are like, oh, why do you, what? I remember Chris Brown, a guy, a mentor I was working with. And he went, mate, why do you do these things? He went, it's like you're punishing yourself. Like literally seeing how much pain you can cause yourself. And he was right. Because when I've gone through that, normal things seem easy. I've said this to you guys so many times, like repetition is the master of all skill, right? If you want to be more resilient, do harder things, but do them relentlessly until what other people find hard becomes easy. So, how else can we become more resilient? Well, number one, stop talking about what went wrong. Stop talking about negative outcomes. Stop talking about why you fail and start focusing on what you need to do next to improve. How could I have done that differently? What's the magic in this situation that I haven't yet realized? What lessons did I learn and how am I going to apply them moving forwards? And take back control and say to yourself, listen, that was just a thing. That's not my story. That isn't how this story ends. You could look at Edison, for example, the Thomas Edison who created the light bulb. He didn't say I failed 999 times before he created the light bulb. He just said, I just found 999 ways it didn't work. So he didn't see any of them as a failure or how his story ended. It was each part was just another chapter to go through. So if you want to build resilience, keep going through the chapters. And the more chapters you go through, the more resilience you'll build. But you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. You need to be powerful and you need to be persistent because repetition is the master of all skill. Now, that brings me very nicely onto the power of presence and how to stop worrying about the future, which we talked about at the beginning. Now, hands up if you do this. I think I need to put both hands up. Worry about what's coming next in life. Worry about what you're missing out on. Worry about everyone that's doing better than you, worrying about what might go wrong, worrying about what people think, worrying about what happened in the past and why, worrying about what if it doesn't work. Worry, 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 worry. And as I said, Mark Twain said, he's had a whole lot of worries in his life. Most of them never came true. So basically, we're normally worrying about fiction. That's how crazy it is. And even if actually, no, I'm really worried about this. Then ask that question, what evidence do you have? Like if you had to go into a court of law and present to the judge and the jury why you were so worried about this thing, the first thing they're going to ask you is for evidence why you're so worried. And the only evidence you'll ever have is that there was a memory of the past that made you feel worried. which is why we need to be pulled by inspiration and a compelling vision of the future, not shackled by memories of the past. We need to start thinking about what might go right rather than worrying about what might go wrong. And even if it does go wrong, it doesn't matter, because there'll be a lesson and we can move forward. So when you start to worry, when you start to get anxious, just take 3 massive deep breaths. 1, is this real? 2, what evidence do I have to back up the way I'm feeling? 3, what can I control right now? And then just focus on one action, not the whole mountain, not the whole situation. Like, most people might even be worried about making a phone call, when if they just made the phone call, the second it worried them, actually, that didn't pan out the way I thought it would. Everything was fine. You know, that happened with, I remember saying to one of you guys when I was selling a house and the tenant had to move out, and I procrastinated on it for 8 weeks because I was worried about his response. His response was, no problem. How much notice would you like to give us? 8 fucking weeks worrying about a fictitious situation. I'd no evidence that he was a bad person or that he was going to do any of the things. In my head was going, oh my God, what if he trashes the house? What if he doesn't pay his last month's rent? What if he says on social media I'm an evil person and now him and his missus and his dog are homeless? And just an absolute load of cod shit that my head had gone, and I know you'll be laughing watching this now because your head does the same. Oh, what if I have this conversation with my partner and they react in this way? Well, have they reacted that way in the past? Well, no, not really. And then, or your boss, or, you know, Rory, a client of mine, he was worried about a situation at work, breached the situation and got a £12,000 pay rise. He'd been sat on that conversation for 12 months, worried about what his bosses would say if he brought that conversation up. Just did it. Like, it's crazy, right? One of the biggest ways to, yes, is it real? Yes, what can I control now? 2, 3, is there any evidence? All great questions to ask. But you know the biggest thing for me when you're really worried or anxious about something? Just fucking do it. Like, if it's asking a question that you've been waiting to ask for someone for however, it's either a fucking yes or a no. Have the conversation, get the response, deal with it. That's how you really calm anxiety. Just take action. Just do it. Because the sooner you do it, the sooner you can stop worrying about it. Does that make sense? So, just to wrap up, I want you to remember before we come on to the last bit, which is how we can let go of some lies that are keeping us trapped, is, you know, I want you to know you're not unmotivated, you're not stuck, you're not behind, you're not anxious, you're not stressed, you're just overwhelmed because you're thinking normally so far in the future or outside of yourself and what's going on that you're just not present in creating what you want because you're too worried about everything. So pull yourself back in, get present, forget about what's going on in the world, forget about the fact that the world keeps spinning and you feel stuck, forget about other people's opinions, forget about the past, even forget about the future, and just think, what do I need to do right now to move forward? What's the LNS? What's the logical next step? And just take it. Like, and what another great question. What's one thing I can do right now to feel less anxious? What's one thing I can do right now to worry less? What's one thing I can do right now to feel a little bit less stuck? What's one action I can take now to make me feel good? And just do it. So, the lies that tend to keep us stuck that I want you to let go of today. One is that you are stuck, that you're not motivated and that you need motivation, that you don't have self-belief and you need it to take action, that you don't have confidence and you need that to take action, that it's different for you, and any other limiting belief you need to let go of, that you can't change, that you'll never lose weight, that things will never work out for you, that you'll never be able to insert thing that you really want to do, that you need things that other people have in order to get what they want. As I said in the podcast, everything you have is already within you. because every one of those is just a story, right? And this actually really backs up episode 17 of the podcast, because it basically just backs up a story of the past. That's it. Something happened in the past, it made you feel a certain way, and now you believe that that's created the story of your future. It hasn't. You can change that story anytime. The pen's in your hand. Every day is a blank page. Like, don't waste it worrying about the past or the future. Just worry about what you need to do today. Like Simon said. Simon Tyson. So all of those thoughts we can replace with, I'm not stuck, I'm learning and growing. We can understand that overwhelm is the emotion of growth. We can understand that you don't need motivation, you need movement. We can understand that action builds confidence, action brings change, and that you always have time. You always have time for what matters. Wherever we spend our time and our money will ultimately be a truthful blueprint for what we value the most. So try switching that in your own head. Change I don't have time with I don't value it this much. Every person in the world has 45 minutes a day to go to the gym, go for a walk, or do a home workout if they want to. The reason they don't do it is because they don't value it, and then they start blaming motivation. It doesn't even have to be the gym. It might be reading a book. It might be working on your business. It could be anything. And yes, change is hard. Yes, challenge is hard. But so's living a life that you don't want to live because you want to keep blaming motivation, anxiety, worry, and stress. So choose your heart. I say this all the time, and it normally goes down like a shit sandwich, but as I always say, I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to wake you the fuck up and improve your life. That's my mission. Right? You can go through the pain and the challenge and the discomfort of ending a toxic relationship or career, going to the gym, stopping drinking, stopping sniffing, gambling, pornography, whatever else it is that people do to get their dopamine buzzes. You can stop all of those things. You can go through the discomfort of going to the gym, of handling all those things, of facing your demons, and you can live a happy and fulfilling life. That's going to be hard, okay? Or you can avoid the discomfort and you can not work on your business and you can not end the relationship because you haven't got the balls to have the conversation, and you can avoid the gym and you can continue eating shit. And that's going to lead to a harder life. So it's about choosing the hard. You can go through the discomfort of going to the gym and eating healthy, or you can go through the discomfort of dreading every single social occasion and being that miserable and uncomfortable with your body that you can't even walk up the stairs without getting out of breath or get naked in front of your partner. Right? Both options are hard. Choose your hard. Both options are discomfort. But I promise you one thing that I've learned over time. You guys know I'm believing all the universe stuff, but the more you avoid discomfort, the more the universe is going to give you by default. The more you keep looking for quick, cheap, easy, pain-free solutions, the more you're going to keep getting reminders that the world doesn't work that way. Choose your hard and do the work, because you're stronger than you think, right? You've survived 100% of your toughest days so far. Your next chapter can start now, but stop waiting. Stop waiting for permission. No more self-pity, no more fear, no more worrying about the outcomes. Let's move, let's lead, and let's rewrite your story, because you're not stuck, you're just not inspired. And you don't need motivation, you don't need confidence, and you don't need self-belief. You just need to take action, be present, and focus on what you need to do today. So as always, we're going to end with some member challenge questions. We're going to end with some action steps, and we are going to leave you with a final message. So we're now wrapping up session 52. That's one per week, which is the minimum that anyone should be doing. Most of you should now hopefully be on day 14 by the time you watch this one. Is that right? 15? Yeah. Day 14 of the 50-day challenge of doing one mindset session per day. If you're doing it, you'll be flying. If you're not, ask yourself why. Definitely don't send me a message telling me you don't have time. So, questions. What story have you been telling yourself about being stuck that's not true? What's one small action you can take today to build motivation, confidence, and self-belief? What's your definition of resilience, and how will you embody it this week? What's one hard thing that you can go through to increase your mental resilience? One hard thing you can choose to do each day. And where are you letting false worry rob you of your presence? Our action steps are journal all of these questions and answers tonight. They'll be in the description. If you're in Unbreakable 90 in the Elite, share your reflections or your breakthrough moments in the WhatsApp group. And remember this mantra: I'm not stuck, I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm moving forwards. All I need to do is keep showing up and keep taking action, because you're not broken, you're not lost, you're not done, you're trying. And when you experience all of these emotions, as I said, it's just a signal to take action and take change. Don't ignore the warning lights on the dashboard. If you feel a certain way, take action, start evolving, start rising, start reclaiming your life. Let's get to work. I love you all.